Welcome to the PTA Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, John Caligiuri. I'm coming by my co-host, Nick Killing. Nick, how you doing today?
Doing great. Howdy.
I'm very excited for this episode. We're going to talk about this clip that's about to roll, about how this guy bought a building off his credit card. I think we can dive into the benefits of having good credit and ways you can build your credit.
You can't buy the Royal Trust building on a credit card. I had written one building, $65 million. I'd signed it. I said, could you please call for an authorization? And it was a Gold Royal Trust credit card. They sent me my bill yesterday and I paid it and I brought it up to date. That's worth 1%. 1% is $650,000. And I said, and by the way, I don't know whether you know it or not, but on a Gold Royal Trust credit card, you get a 1% discount. That's $1.3 million.
That's savage move, buying a building on a credit card. I can say for certain my credit card limit is not enough to buy a building. I don't know about you, Nick. You are a mogul, right? The mogul.
That is crazy. I would imagine there'd be some kind of clause within the contract that you sign when you sign up for a credit card that says you can't do something like this, because then the credit card company would like owe you $650,000 something like that. So, I mean, probably after him doing that, they probably wrote something in and be like, "Yeah, we're changing these rules."
That is fair. I do want to utilize this clip as to kind of discuss the benefits of credit cards, the negatives of credit cards, and certain ways to build your credit.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people honestly don't really understand the pros, cons, and really how everything works and how you can get into debt and stuff like that, and the effects too.
Yeah.
When you're trying to buy a house and you have massive credit card debt, that's especially with interest rates being how they are right now, and home prices are a little high. Every dollar counts, and if you have to pay $200 a month on your credit card, that's $200 less of a house you can buy per month.
That's 100% true. So let's break into, if we're going to talk on the negatives, how do you want to go through this? You go positive, negatives, and then ways to build. I think that's a good way to structure the episode.
Yeah, let's start strong with a happy vibe with the positives.
Okay, positive vibes only. So the positives of utilizing a credit card as opposed to, say, a debit card or cash is there's I would say three main reasons. One, the security. Two, the rewards. And then three, you're building your credit. So when you want to make bigger purchases, i.e. A vehicle and a car, there's other big purchases, but those are the main ones in America, I would say, purchasing your home and purchasing your vehicle. So if you have good credit, those two main purchases will be cheaper, because a lot of people know this. If you have bad credit, getting loans, you get higher interest rates because you're a poor creditor. If you have good credit, then you get it. Those your house and your car are cheaper because you pay a lower interest rate.
Yeah, and zero credit is still not good credit.
Yes, zero credit is not good credit because you don't know. So it's actually hard to get this thing.
Some people will come to me and be like, "Oh, I have good credit." And when you dig deeper in, like, "Oh, so you have a credit card, you have car paid off, and you're paying all these things." "Oh, no. I mean, I have good credit because I have no credit." It's like, no, that's not how it works. No credit is better than bad credit, but still, no credit is not good credit.
That is a great point, Nick. Thank you for that. So having no credit is not good credit. I would put that in the category of having bad credit if you have no credit. So the second reason of having benefits of having a credit card is the security. Because I don't know about you, Nick, but me personally, go in New Jersey, there's someone got a gas station, a guy's out there pumps your gas for you. I believe it's the only state. Maine might do it. There's another state that does it, but I know New Jersey is either the last one or the second to last one that does it. You know what they did to me? The past three times I gave my credit card to pump gas, They got me for $170. I was like, I didn't spend $170 getting gas. They're just taking the credit card number and scanning it. And that's what I would say is the benefit of a credit card as opposed to using your debit card is it's not your money. The credit card is the bank's money. So I can only speak for PNC Bank, and PNC Bank is a great bank. But say you had a dispute or fraud on your debit card, and someone takes, let's just use me as an example, $170 from my account. Well, you can do a dispute, and it can take up to 90 days to get your cash back, as opposed to a credit card where I literally just did this. I shot on Navy Federal. It happened on my Navy Fed card. I looked on the back of the card. I called it. I said I had fraud on my card. I spent $20. I did not spend $70 at this Wawa. And like, okay. And they gave me back $150.
Nice.
Yeah, right off my credit line. Very easy, seamless. At PNC, you got to call, you got to wait. And not at PNC, but all banks in general, because if you lose your cash, then you're out that cash until an investigation is done. So I think that's another, like, a hidden benefit of a credit card. Of it just gives you a layer of security. Do you agree or disagree, Nick?
No, 100% agree. I do have a question. So when the fraud happens, how long do you have to report that fraud? Is there like a statute of limitations kind of on that fraud, or?
So I can only speak for Navy Federal. I believe industry standard. This is me just BSing. Probably between 30 and 180 days. I would say 90 days is a good rule of thumb. Each credit card is different. I will say this. Shout out to Navy Federal. I was an idiot and I had my memorable Wingo Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So my Bowingo Wi-Fi, I thought I shut it down, and I was looking at my debit card. I was looking at my statement one thing. I was like, $40 for Wi-Fi, Bowingo, and this is like probably a year and a half since I got out. I called them up and I said, "Hey, I shut this down years ago." They gave me back $500 cash into my. So, like I said, I think industry standard is $90, but it's bank to bank for sure. Because Navy Federal hooked me up. I was like, I did not expect that. I was hoping to get like $120. Like I was hoping the 90 days. I was like, give me. Yeah. They hooked it up. They gave me like $500 back into my account. I was like, oh my god! I shout out to Navy for that. I'll always bring that up because Navy Fed did hook me up in that respect. I would say the third and final reason that having a credit card is better than having a debit card, I would say for the reward points, for the airline miles, for the points to get money back or the cash back.
Yeah, I mean, my wife and I have flown for free for the past like couple trips that we've had, but because we just use our credit card all the time.
Yeah.
And we just rack up points. And then also my business account too. I have like I think I only have like a couple hundred points right now, or a couple $100 worth of points right now. So, I mean, I'm probably not gonna use that anytime soon, but that's like $300 that I didn't have if I just use a debit card.
Yeah, we'll get into this, so like how to build good credit. But basically, if you never carry a balance month to month, you actually get paid to spend money. I bought my Canada Goose jacket, which is a $1,600 jacket, off credit card points. That's not a lie. I'm so dumb. I didn't know how to like claim my points. So like all my points I had for the 2.5 years I had my card, I was like, no way. And I got it and I bought my Canada Goose jacket and a pair of Ray-Ban off of it. So yes, because a lot of people are like, oh, points and miles and stuff like that's not worth it. No, it's worth it.
100%
it is 100% worth it. So just to be clear, the three main reasons why to have a credit card: 1, for the rewards; 2, for the security; and 3, to build up your credit. So when you make your major purchases, i.e. a house and a car, it will actually be cheaper. Because if you have good credit, you get lower interest rates. So how credit cards are dangerous? Because a lot of people, like, credit card debt is a major thing in America. People do spend outside their means, and they do hit you over the head. As good as a credit card is with rewards, they love to hit you over the head. The average credit card interest rate is between 18 and 36%, which is astronomical. because I believe prime right now is 7. I believe, subject to change. This is March of
I think it's lower than that. I think it's like
Okay.
6.5 now.
well, 6.5. It's between 6 and 10%. Let's just be 100% certain. It's between 6.5 and 10%, somewhere in that ballpark. But the average as of March 2024, it's 18 to 36% in credit card interest rate, which is highway robbery. Some might say that's worse than an Italian loan shark. As an Italian, I agree. So what, like, why is this bad and how can it get out of control? So most people, when you go to get a credit card, you're going to get in our age group. So our listeners are between 18 and 25. Your credit line is probably going to be anywhere between $2,500 and $5,000. I would say that's probably industry standard for someone in our age group, like in our demographic, for the people listening. So what people don't know, like, oh, I have $5,000. And what's so BS is that some people think, oh, you need to have a credit, a carry a balance month to month to show the old in the 90s, people would say, oh, go load up your credit card and carry a balance and pay it down, and it shows that you're a good creditor. No. That is horrible advice. I think that was put out by the credit card companies so you to get into credit card debt, because whoever follows that advice is an idiot. And that is just horrible advice.
I have heard that advice, like just have like a couple $100 for month to month and it helps build your credit. I don't do that, but I've heard people talk about it.
Yes, and that is bad financial advice. That is horrible financial advice. Because it gets out of control so easily. Because if you, let's just say $100, so say you carry $100 a month, and let's go the low end of 18%. Well, then that's $18 of interest you got to pay a month, and it compounds over and over and over again. So say you have say you carry $100. Well, you're not really carrying $100 next month. If you have a 36% interest on your credit card, you have to pay $136.
Yeah,
it's asinine. That's horrible. Do not do that. For people out there, do not carry balance month to month. They love to kill you. They love to hit you over the head. I know people say have a credit card for emergencies, and sometimes I'll be honest right now. When my basement apartment flooded out and I had to move to a new spot, I didn't know where I was going to go, I did carry a balance that month. I was like, okay, like I had to be cash heavy, and I didn't know what my moves were, so I did carry a balance that month. But after that month, I paid it off, and then once I got into my house, I paid it off. So yes, with all things finance, there's always a gray area where you could say, well, what about this situation? Yes, there's always going to be, in every single piece of advice, there's always going to be, in that situation, you could do that. And I completely agree to that. But 90% of the time, do not carry a balance month to month, because you have to pay for it. You're going to pay 18 to 36% interest on there, which
and
is
you just get in the hole and just get deeper and deeper.
Yes, and it's very hard to come back from. Especially if you don't change your spending habits, almost impossible to come back from. So let's go to, I think, our third and final approach of how to build good credit. So if you're saying, who's this 25-year-old kid? This guy's an a-hole. How can he say have good credit? Well, when I was 22 years old, I bought a house. I had good credit from there, and I also was a financer of a truck. So I got the truck was $45,000. So all in that same year. So I've had pretty good credit because I followed these strategies. Pay your credit card. If you do have a credit card, every Friday before you go out, pay the balance down to zero. And then on the first of the month, pay it down to zero. Because it also, if you do it every Friday and on the first of the month, you actually have a good track of your finances of like, oh, wait, I spent that much on Starbucks this week, or I bought that many Monsters, or like, wait, that's more than I thought. So like, one, it keeps track of your finances.
Look at it at least. I mean, look at it at least every week. You should look. I look at my balance like every day before I go to bed. That's kind of like my nighttime routine. Is like, all right, my business accounts. All right, good. I didn't spend any money today on my business expense. That's what I thought. All right, personal. Hey, what did we buy at Target today?
Does the dog really need that many treats?
Yeah, I mean, it's every day. I mean, walk that through, because I mean, my wife buys stuff that I'm not aware of. Sometimes I need to buy something. and just having that conversation so you guys are tracking on, what are we spending our money on? Are we able to pay it off at the end of the month or at the end of the week? To have those conversations.
Yes, and that is actually how you build your credit.
Yeah.
Right there, of borrowing and then paying it off to zero, because that makes you a good creditor, and that also allows you to take advantage of the credit card rewards. So strategy. So for someone out here who has no credit whatsoever, I would highly suggest you get a secure credit card, not a regular credit card, a secure credit card. And for the listeners out there who does not know what a secure credit card is, it's basically you put cash down and that's your credit card limit. So that's, for instance, PNC, the minimum payment down for a secure card is $300. So you put $300 down and that's your credit limit. So you cannot spend more than $300 credit line. So you can still pay it down like a regular credit card. So like say on Monday you spent $250, but you had $250 in the bank, you could pay it down to zero and you still have 300. You would go back down to zero and you have $300 to spend. So that's what I would, and then be diligent with that and use the strategy of every Friday you pay your balance down to zero, and the first of the month you make sure your balance is down to zero as well. And then just do that for 6 months, have the secure card for 6 months. It will greatly increase your credit. And then because the secure card, you're not going to take advantage of the rewards. You don't get rewards for secure cards. So after that, then after about 6 months, you have a good credit score. Then you should transition to, there's a million different credit cards out there that offer a million different rewards. I'm not going to sit here and go through each one of those. That's really up to you what you want. Of like, if you do a lot of online shopping, there's online shopping cards. You do a lot of traveling, there's traveling cards. I know there's videos and TikToks of do this, do that. I'm not going to break that down, because if you're focusing on credit cards and that's how you're going to make a lot of money, you're focusing on the wrong thing, in my opinion. Yeah. Just find one that you like, that works for you, and go from there, because you can take advantage of the rewards. So that would be to be crystal clear, if you are in credit card debt, follow Dave Ramsey's advice, cut that thing in half, and then grind and get that balance down to zero, and then build good credit habits of every Friday you pay your balance down to zero, the first of the month you pay down to zero, and then just take advantage of the rewards, and you will never run into credit card debt or troubles if you follow that.
It's good advice.
Awesome. Thank you. I think that's a good way to round up. Thank you so much for listening. God bless and have a good rest of your day.